So today we're going to take a look at solving by elimination that's a little bit more complicated than what we've seen the last couple of days. So now we have to multiply both equations in order to eliminate. And the reason is if we look at our coefficients, so for example our x's have coefficients of -2 and 3, but 2 doesn't go into 3 evenly. If we look at our y's, we have -6 and 11, and again 6 doesn't go into 11 evenly. So we will have to find a number that one of the variables that we can use for both of them to cancel. So what you might want to do is start with a variable that has smaller coefficients. So in this case, our x's have coefficients of -2 and 3, and our y's have coefficients of -6 and 11. Well, 2 and 3 are smaller than 6 and 11, so I'm going to choose to eliminate x. Once I decide on a variable to eliminate, I need to find the least common multiple of those coefficients. Remember, a least common multiple is a number that, in this case, 2 and 3 both go into. So I'm thinking of 6 because 2 and 3 both go into 6, so that's my least common multiple. And then I want to multiply both equations and make sure that one of your equations will have a negative coefficient so that when you add them together, the variable eliminates. So again, I want to multiply to 6, so my first equation will multiply by 3, and my second equation will multiply by 2. Distributing my 3, I get -6x minus 18y equals, and if I do 3 times 0, it's still 0. My second equation, 2 times 3x is 6x, 2 times 11 is 22, and 2 times 4 gives me 8. So when I add my equations together, -6x plus 6x cancels, -18y plus 22y gives me 4y, and 0 plus 8 is 8. So dividing both sides by 4, I get y equals 2. Need a little more room here. There we go. All right, so substituting the 2 back into one of the original equations, I'm going to choose my second equation just because there aren't any negatives. So we have 3x plus 11 times 2 equals 4. 11 times 2 is 22. Subtracting 22 from both sides, we get 3x equals -18, and dividing both sides by 3, I get x equals -6. So I'm almost done with step 4. I have eliminated, I have solved for both variables. I'm going to write them as an ordered pair, x coordinate first, then y coordinate. So now I need to check my solution in the equation that I didn't use to solve for x. And that would be my first equation. So I've got -2 times x, replacing x with a -6, minus 6 times y is 2. Does that equal 0? -2 times -6 is positive 12. 6 times 2 is 12, so 12 minus 12 does equal 0. Let's take a look at one more. This time when I look at my variables, all of the numbers are relatively small, 3 and 4 and 2 and 5. So I can really choose any variable I want to, in this case, to cancel. Another thing to look for is if your variables already have opposite signs, that would be a good variable to choose as well. But in this case, all my variables are positive. So I'm going to go ahead and work with my y's this time. The least common multiple of 2 and 5 is 10. So I will multiply both of my equations by a number so that my y's have coefficients of +10 and -10. So my first equation, I'm going to make this one negative, so I'm going to multiply by a -5 so that when I do 2 times -5, I get a -10. My second equation, I'm going to multiply by 2, so when I do my 2 times 5, I'll get a +10. Distributing to my first equation, I get -15x minus 10y, and multiplying way over to my constant as well, I get -25. Second equation, 2 times 4x is 8x, 2 times 5y is positive 10y. And multiplying all the way over to my 16, I get a 32. So now I am going to eliminate, solve, and check my answer. Adding my equations together, I get negative 7x. My y's cancel. And 32 minus 25 is 7. Dividing both sides by negative 7, I get x equals negative 1. Solving for y, I'm going to go ahead and substitute this into, I'm going to choose my first equation this time. So we get 3 times negative 1 plus 2y equals 5. Negative 3 plus 2y equals 5. Adding 3 to both sides, we get 2y equals 8. And dividing both sides by 2, we get y equals 4. So my solution is x coordinate, y coordinate. And checking this in this time my second equation, the one that I didn't use to solve for y, replacing x with negative 1, substituting 4 for y, does that equal 16? Does it check out? 4 times negative 1 is negative 4, 5 times 4 is 20, and 20 minus 4 is 16.